Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you for joining me on this video. We are going to talk about long division, and I would like to take you one step back, look at the division itself, and I move forward to the long division. So let's look at this example. So 25 divided by 5. Now, depending on what kind of a question you're getting, this could have two different meanings. So one is that you have 25 apples, for example, and you want to split it between 5 friends, and you want to know how many does each friend get, right? Other one would be you have 25 apples, and you want each person specifically to get 5 apples, and you want to know how many friends you could split the 25 with, right? So um, we we also, before we go ahead, we also need to look at what each number means. So 25 is a total number, total number in division, right? And this itself in math language is called dividend, dividend, dividend. Okay. The other one right beside it after the division sign is the number. So I'm going to use hashtag for number of groups, or uh, number of things, things that each, at each group, or individual. So I'm going to put group will get. Okay. Now, this, like the dividend, has a name, and we call it divisor. Divisor. So this one has a name, this one has a name. This one is called dividend, this one is called divisor. Okay? Now, this one, the last piece, is our answer. Okay? Answer. Answer. And this one also has a name, which we call quotient. Quotient. Okay? So this is called, so the first number is the total number, which is called dividend. The other one is the number of groups or number of things that each group will get, which is called divisor. And lastly, you have the answer that you want to get. Now, usually what you would do is that once you have this, you would draw a division line. So basically, this would be a line, starts from 0, the last number is 25. And what you do is that, depending on what the question is asking, you want to subtract 5 from 25. You want to keep going back till you reach 0. And the reason why you do that is that each jump that you make on the number line will represent a group. So for instance, so I'm going back 5, so subtract 5, this would be 20. So I still need to keep going till I get 0. So this would be 15, subtract 5, I keep subtracting, this would be 10, subtract one more, 5, and lastly, one more time. So each is a subtraction of 4 by 5. Now, once you do this, in order to get the answer, you have to count um, how many jumps you made. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, having said that, now you know what your answer is. So 25 divided by 5 equals, so you count the jumps, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, so it equals to 5. Okay, so your answer would be 5. Now, this was the one that you did. So this is very elementary. Anyway, now this may take a little bit longer when you have bigger numbers. Or this itself could take long because you have to draw a line, you have to number them, you have to subtract, keep going back. So it takes a little bit of time. But nonetheless, if you ever get stuck, this would be the way to get your answer. Now, in terms of long division, what we do is that we try to make things faster. So if I look at the same problem, so 25 divided by 5, and I don't know what the answer is, and I want to do this faster, I'm going to use long division. Now, long division is interesting because it has a different sign. So um, the sign for this is this, which is division. Now, the sign for long division would be this, okay? So this would be the sign for long division. And the way it goes is that this number, which was, yeah, the dividend will go over here, 25. The other number, which was this, and we called it, yeah, you got it. We called it divisor. We'll go right beside it. So I like to say, I like to look at the long division sign as a house. So the dividend, the total number, would be inside the house, and the one that you're splitting it by would be outside of the house, which is to the left. Now, what about the quotient? What about your answer? Where would that be? Well, this one would be right over here. And you will see in a moment how it is done and how we write the answer at the end. Now, before we move on, we need to look at the long division in terms of what rule or what rules it has. So there's an acronym which is dad, mother, sister, brother, Robert the dog, or Robert the dog. It was D, and this stands for division. M that I called mother was for multiplication. And in a moment you see what I'm doing with this. So first it's good to know all the rules, and step by step we go into it. So this one stands for subtraction. B stands for bring it down. Now this part may not make sense now, but bear with me. And the R stands for remainder. Okay, so these are my rules. Done. Dad, mother, sister, brother, Robert the dog, or Robot the dog, whichever you want to call it. So first of all, I'm going to look at the highest place value of my dividend, which would be the dividend would be 25, and number 2 would be the highest place value, which is in the 10th, right? So I'm going to look at 2. So if you want, you could draw this imaginary line over here, right? Imaginary line, because you're only looking at number 2. You're not going to worry about the 1, one's placement, place value. So if you want, you could put your finger on 5 and just look at the 2. So you're going to ask yourself, how many times does 5 divisor will go into 2? Now, obviously, 5 can't go into 2. Imagine that you have 2 chairs and you want 5 of your friends to sit and each get a chair. So you can't. You only have 2 chairs, so you can't really sit everyone in. So it would be 0. So you can't. Either you could have all of your friends seated, or you can't have any of them seated. So now, once we know that 5 can't go into 2, we're going to put 0, okay? So 0 right on top of 2, okay? Because that's the one we looked at. Now, once we know that 5 can't go into 2, now we're going to look at the next one. We're going to look at the other place value. So we're going to combine it. So 25. Now I'm going to look at the tens and the ones. So 25. Now I'm going to ask myself, how many times does 25, how many times does 5 go into 25? Now, we already got this answer. We looked at the number line over here. We know it goes into 5. 5 goes goes into 25 5 times because we have 5 jumps. Now, over here, if you don't want to do this and you're good with your multiplication table, you could even go on the side and say 5 times 1 is 5. And you keep going until you get the dividend or close to dividend, the number of the dividend. So 5 times 2 equals 10. And I could just make a jump and go to 5 times 4, which is 20. 5 times 5, 25. Now I'm going to look at these numbers and I see if I'm close to 25, and already I could tell this one is the one that I want. So I know it would be 5. 5 times 5 equals 25, and we already know the reverse of multiplication is division. So 5 goes into 25 5 times, so I'm going to write it over here. Okay. What I did right now was that I divided, right? That was division, like how many times does 5 going to 2 or going to 25. Then I'm going to multiply it. I'm going to use a multiplication, so I'm going to put, let's use blue for multiplication. So I'm going to multiply this by this, right? I'm going to say 5 times 5 equals 25. I'm going to put the number below it, okay? Now I'm going to subtract. Okay? I'm subtracting 25 from 25. And the answer would be, or the, not the answer, but the remainder of this would be 0. So the remainder would be this, okay? So the remainder would be 0. Now, in terms of bringing it down, this applies if you have a number over here. We don't. So we're not going to bring anything down, so we could divide furthermore, okay? Now, your quotient, which is your answer, would be this, okay? This would be your answer, okay? So at the end, you will just write 25 divided by 5 equals 5. And you're going to write me something depending on what the question is asking you. You're going to write a statement of what this means. What did you find out? Okay. Now, what if you have a number which the first place value, the highest place value, you can actually put the divisor into it. So for example, you have 55 divided by 5. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to do the long division sign. I'm going to put the dividend inside of the house. I'm going to put the divisor right beside it to the left. And this one, now pay attention please, because this one first, I'm going to draw this imaginary line over here. Now I'm going to look at the first place value, the highest one. Same thing as we did. I'm going to see how, if I could divide it into it. So how many times does 5 go into 5? You have 5 chairs, you have 5 friends. Can you sit all of them, saying that each will get a chair? Of course you can. 5 goes to 5 one time. So you're going to put 1 over here. Now you're going to multiply, right? And then you're going to put it over here to subtract it. Now, you are not, and I'm going to repeat this, you are not going to subtract 5 from 55. You're going to subtract 5 from the 10th place value, not the whole thing, not 55, because we only are dealing with the highest number, right? Highest number over here, right? 5. Highest place value number, 5. That's it. So once you did this, 5 minus 5 equals 0, and the bringing it down part is over here, right? It would be, you bring the 5 down. Now this would be 5. Now you're going to repeat the whole rules again. Now you're going to ask yourself, how many times does 5 go into this 5? Now the obvious answer would be 1 time. So you're going to put 1 over here. You're going to multiply. You're going to put it over here, subtract. You don't have any numbers to bring down over here, right? So you don't need to worry about the bringing it down. Now your remainder would be 0, because if you take 5 from 5, it would be 0. So your answer would be 11. This is not your answer. This is not your this is not your answer. Okay? This is your answer. And we call this quotient. Okay? So if I were to go back, I would write this 55 divided by 5, right, equals 11. Now don't forget that I need to write the statement, therefore statement. So you write whatever the question is asking. Now, you also want to double check your answer. Just a reminder, multiplication and division, you could double check each other. So when you have a division, you could check it with multiplication. So take this number from division and take your answer, quotient. So multiply them. So 5 times 11 and see if you get the total number, which is 55. Remember, in the division, your total number is over here. In multiplication, your total number is over here. You get these, you have the same number for these, then your answer is right. You get the full mark. Everyone is happy. And from this, you don't have any mistakes. Okay. So I hope this helped. Go back, pause the video, and I hope you explore more when you came and saw this video. Thank you for watching this. I hope you do well. Keep on smiling and have a good day. Thank you.